Welcome to Toaru podcast number 22. Now time for NT. And today we are joined by Malcolm, Toonie,
Hello.
and our special guest, RJ from On the Rise A&V. Welcome.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. I noticed that, like, when I first discovered your channel, you made quite a few videos about the Toaru franchise, which definitely made me aware and got my attention.
Yeah, it's do you just want me to introduce myself now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So hey guys, what's up? My name is RJ. I'm from the channel On the Rise, MV. You can just call us On the Rise. We make anime content from like think piece videos about the community to a bunch of underrated shows like Toaru. Or we just review and talk about mostly me review and talk about anime and just have a good time. And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Nice. What would you say got you into like the Toaru franchise? I know you talk about like loads of different kinds of anime and sometimes manga as well on your channel, but I'm aware it's like one of your favorites. Is that right?
Yeah, Toaru is my second favorite anime of all time.
Let's go.
I don't know if I should say second up here, but it is.
What's first? It may be forgivable if the first one makes sense.
It won't be. But it's Dragon Ball.
Nostalgia.
Dragon Ball edges it out by nostalgia. Yeah, I don't think it's better written, but it edges out by nostalgia alone.
I think the writing, at least in like Dragon Ball up until like the Buu arc, was actually pretty good. Like I think the writing itself is underrated.
Yeah.
Super's writing is horrendous though. I won't.
No. Super is awful. I literally made a whole video about how Super should never been made. But
I gotta watch that. Nothing would top the Cell arc with like the future Trunks. Looks like timeline.
Yeah.
Nothing would. They could never do that again.
Yeah. I also agree that the writing's underrated. I think Dragon Ball's writing is simple, and that's why people will be like, "Oh no, it's not as good," but it's still good. It's just a simple story, really. But yeah, no. Toaru, I fell in love with the franchise years ago. I think the first season of Railgun just finished wrapping up when I got into the franchise.
Ooh.
So whatever time frame that is, like
It's like did you watch it dubbed or subbed?
So I originally watched it dubbed.
Okay, so yeah, that came out a few years after the original airing, so that'd probably be 2014, probably like 2013, 2014, I think. I remember waiting forever for it.
Yeah, that's when I got into the franchise. I originally watched Index dubbed, and I was like, that was cool. And then I was like, what is this? I was like, that's the girl from Index. She has her own show. What's going on over here?
Wow.
And I watched the first season of Railgun, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. I need to continue. And then it was just the rabbit hole from there. I just watching stuff, and it became what it is today. So.
All right. Where do you stand now? Do you think you're more of an Index or a Railgun side kind of person?
Literally surrounded by like 3 Misaka like posters. So Railgun.
Gotcha.
I relate to
that. Yeah. No, I love Misaka. She's one of my favorite. She is my favorite female character in anime. Yeah.
Nice.
100%.
Fair.
Oh yeah, definitely more Railgun. I definitely think that I don't agree with Index hate though. A lot of people that love Railgun don't tend to be like, oh, it's the better one, or Index not really needed, just watch Railgun. And I'm like, no, you need to watch Index. Like, it's better to experience this entire franchise fully, because that's like, I think that's the appeal of it, really.
I 100% agree with you. I think you're missing out a lot as a Railgun fan if you don't understand like some of the subtle like ways the Railgun story arcs play into it. Like the aim burst monster, like you have so much better understanding of it once you understand like Hyoka.
Yeah.
And like how they exist. Like it's really cool. Like it makes it 10 times better.
I mean, even I like peak Railgun, like the sister arc, is like I think it's better to see the index version first because I feel like that's more it's Toma's side, so it's a little more abridged. But when you see Toma's side and then you see Misaka's side, it hits way harder. Like it hits way harder. Like definitely watch Index. Like I don't agree with anyone that says just watch Railgun. No, you have to watch it all.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were influenced by like Railgun Season 1's like sort of heavy slice of life aspects that it had, especially because this was around the time K-On! Was like hitting its absolute peak and everybody was into slice of life. So I think a lot of people who are like Railgun only adamantly hate Index, it's because they're really looking more so for the cute girls doing cute stuff type genre than they are for the actual action side of things.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a different feel. I'm not gonna sit here and be like Railgun and Index are like it's the same. They're like it's different feel. Like I definitely have my preferences over which series I rather watch. But as for consumption as a whole, I definitely, if you liked Railgun, I definitely need to check out Index. It's a different feel, but worth it. It's so worth it in the end.
Absolutely.
I think we all like preferred Railgun simply because season 2 and now 3 were just on a different level in terms of the direction, the tone, especially. I understand why people don't like the Index anime, just because it does feel quite messy at times and hard to understand, and then you have people criticizing the cliches and stuff like that. But it is the main story, and I don't think it's been given its justice. But I'm glad you still appreciate Index for what it is in anime. But I'm not trying to advertise light novels, but I will. The light novels are highly recommended, but it is a massive time investment, obviously, to anyone. I know it can be quite daunting to try and get into it, just like One Piece, for example.
Yeah. Which it's funny you say One Piece. That's my third favorite.
I think if you like Index's storytelling, I think you should like One Piece's as well, because they're both so like long running. Like, oh, this tiny thing that happened 300 chapters ago is suddenly relevant here.
Yeah.
Like, they both have a lot of similar storytelling in terms of world building.
That's like my main selling point. Like I got into Fate series and I was like, I like how there's so much to it. It's not just like a one and done. So I feel like that's what drew me into like Toaru, how it's just always something else. It's not just like a season or two.
You guys are just listing all my favorites. Fate's my fourth.
Yeah.
No, because I think the video that Aeon said he discovered me on was my world building video where I talked about better world building than One Piece, and it's just me gushing over the Index franchise. Which I stand by that statement. I really do think it has better world building than One Piece. And I said in the video, it's because, just in simpler terms, because Index is like a non-linear story. Like One Piece, Oda, he tells us a bunch of information that he just can't include within the story because he wants to keep it like linear on track, doesn't want to veer too much. Railgun, or not in Railgun, but the Index franchise has so many spin-offs where you can they mention something and you can literally go read like what they mentioned or something like that, or they mention a character and you literally go read that character's story. And I think that is, for me personally, being a Fate fan and an Index fan, is so much better to have that rabbit hole where you can just keep reading and keep consuming content from it and then piece together the timeline either by yourself or with the fandom. I think that's really cool. I really enjoy that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think these massive franchises have their own unique appeal as opposed to like a 12 episode anime series that is consumed in an instant or within an anime season, depending if you choose to binge watch it or watch it weekly as it's airing. Like the fact that you've got so much content, and as you mentioned, we got a super chat. Evolution GG for Jito, thank you. No message, but appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the stream. But yeah, as I was saying, it's got a different appeal because some people, they just want a quick fix, like 12 episode anime, but these massive franchises that have ever expanding universes and then multiple spin-offs and side stories, as you've mentioned, that reference one another. It's kind of like how massive franchises continue to develop as well. I mean, I made a video about like the MCU, for example, and people are really into that at the moment, I feel. So I think more people should get into Toaru.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I will say this. Brought up Fate. Toaru is way easier to get into than Fate is.
Yeah.
Just by a mile, because it was like, where do you start from Fate? And that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question.
Yeah, absolutely. Because at least Toaru, apart from like the non-canon stuff, has like a beginning, somewhat of a middle. I mean, the end is nowhere in sight, at least for Index.
Yeah, beginning and then middle.
Yeah, although to be honest, the beginning is often disputed as well, because like you have like the first chapters of Railgun that start before Index, but then it starts to overlap Index. So is Railgun the beginning? Nah.
Well, I mean, then you can be like, oh, well, NT11.
Oh yeah, just go to all the backstory arcs.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Biohacker.
You gotta start with Index. You gotta start with it. That's the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you read the novels at all?
I have not. No, I'm anime and manga only.
Ooh, will you read them with NT coming up?
I might just have to. Like, to be honest,
Hey.
I'm kind of sick of waiting.
I think the anime, like the information you get from the anime, should be enough to like survive NT. Like you won't be too confused. So I don't think most people are gonna need to like actually start from the beginning of OT. And if you are confused, like the wiki, like haha wiki users, but like it's still a good resource for anything you are confused by.
Filthy wiki readers.
I mean, I to be honest, this channel is a good resource too. But
Thank you.
yeah, I right now what I'm doing is so I need to catch up on I'm waiting for more chapters to come out so I can binge them. I need to catch up on the Railgun manga. I'm reading the Mental manga right now. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the manga version of Index 3 because we don't have to talk about the anime. Yeah. Because the anime did not do... I was watching it and I was like, I haven't even read the novels. Like, I can see they're rushing this.
So like you, even as an anime only, could recognize the issues with Index 3.
It was very obvious based off the first 2 seasons alone. And I was like, even with the anime itself, I could tell that they were leaving some stuff out and they couldn't include all the details because it was an anime adaptation, of course. But with Index 3, it just felt like they were just like, hey, everything we did wrong in the first 2 seasons, let's just up that like to the extreme. And I was like, what is going? And it was really disappointing because the wait for from Index 2 to 3 was like so
8
painful.
years,
Yeah, it was no one thought it was gonna happen. And then when Index 3 was announced, everyone was like, "Oh my god, you're finally getting a new season of Index! Oh my god!" And I think it was announced, Railgun T, and the Accelerator anime. I think all 3 of them were announced at the same time. And everyone was like, "Yeah, oh my god, more Toaru, yeah!" And Railgun T was awesome. The Accelerator anime was
It's better than the manga.
It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable because I read the arc. I read it before I watched it. I thought it was rather enjoyable. And then Index 3 was a disappointment, sadly. But that was the one I was hyped for the most. So I'm definitely going back and reading the version just to get a better feel of what's going on.
Right.
And from there, because the manga updates very slowly, maybe I'll veer into the novels.
Fair enough.
I should really do a video about Index 3, just explaining every arc, just to make it more understandable, because the pacing was so rushed that it didn't have time to explain all right, who are these characters, what the hell's happening in this arc. It was just all 200 times speed,
Yeah, that would be a good video. You can milk that into like arcs too. Like if people want to
Yeah.
see a specific arc, you just have a video dedicated.
Yeah, I kind of did a battle royale one, but I mean, that was kind of old to be fair. But yeah, definitely, good idea.
Definitely do it because it's sad because with Index 3 there was a lot of major plot points that were just like rushed through. I don't want to say any spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Index 3, but I read a bunch of spoilers for that season before it aired, and I was like, oh, I can't get this to get animated, you know, like a certain blonde-haired character's death. Just like, oh wow, I can't wait for this to get animated, and it just happened. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, it sort of happens off screen, even in the books.
Yeah.
Actually, the manga probably did the death like the most interesting because they pulled Measure Heart into it, which was just manga exclusive, which sort of makes it a lot more tragic because it's not like she just betrayed them, like she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the big news of New Testament getting an English release?
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. I'll be real. I'll let you guys do the talking because I've, made videos about this, and so has Toonie as well. But yeah, Malcolm wants to go first. How did you react to the news? Like, I know we had like a bit of a inkling to think it could happen, like most likely, but knowing like our experience as like dedicated hardcore Index fans, where we've just been like shafted, it was like an element of doubt still.
When YenPress like tweeted out, they're like, "Get ready for something magical tomorrow," like in a magical announcement, and like everybody's like hyped for NT. Like I was like hoping for NT too, but part of me was like, can't wait for them to announce Magical Modica, some random adaptation of that.
Yeah.
But no, like it was sort of like I didn't really know how to feel because that's in some parts it's like, man, y'all are doing this now. I'll be like in my 30s by the time this is done. And then it's like now I gotta wait for GT and all this stuff. But like I'm still like really excited for it because it's just like now I can put it on my bookshelf and actually be able to pull it off and read it whenever I want. I'm hoping the translation is better this time around. They haven't announced a translator for it as far as I'm aware, or like I don't think anybody's made it public yet. So I don't know if it'll be the same translator or not. I think it's fine if they have the OT translator because I think their translations got a lot better towards the end of everything. I just hope they change Gekura's name back to Gekura instead of like Mr. Frog or whatever they call it.
Not know that.
Mr. Frog, everyone's favorite mascot.
And I'd also be very happy if they started referring to AIM as AIM again instead of whatever their original term for it is.
Voluntary
fusion
field.
They just called it involuntary diffusion field, which like like technically it's true, but like the name of the energy itself is AIM, and then you have an AIM diffusion field. So it's sort of like by just calling it an involuntary diffusion field, it's like it's an involuntary diffusion field, but that's like that doesn't really explain much. Like, oh, you have AIM the energy, and it's diffusing. But then it just changes, like, because then they have to like change a lot of the terminology for later things. Like AIM Stalker isn't a thing in the English light novels because they changed it to Ability Stalker, which I don't think encapsulates really what the ability does properly. So there are things like that I would like to see changed, but I'm still excited for it. Like, I know the proper terminology for things, so it's not like it messes with me that much.
Yeah, fair points, fair points. I mean, body involuntary fusion field. I think that's like, when you don't have like an easy acronym for it, I think it's kind of a mouthful, but otherwise. Yeah, I mean, can't complain too much at this stage, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I get why they call it
I don't know.
Involuntary diffusion field, because AIM was an involuntary movement.
Yeah.
But like, you know, I was still like if you were to read just the official translations of light novel, like, what is the energy espers give off? Well, you can't really say. You just know it's something they give off involuntarily that's constantly diffusing as a field.
Pretty much. Right.
But yeah, I'm
RJ.
excited for it. I'm ready.
Yeah. RJ, did you care about the NT announcement as an anime-only fan, or be like, oh, that's cool, or what? Did you react to it at all? Like, what were your thoughts?
So I'm excited for it, and yeah, I don't read the novels at all, but we got to start somewhere, right? The fact that a Western publisher is bringing the novels over and translating them in English, that cost a lot of money. They don't do that on series they don't think they'll make the money back for. That means someone at YenPress has faith in this franchise, and if Toaru is nothing else, the franchise is resilient for keep coming back when people think it's dead. So it's like it's a good indicator that there are still people out there within the industry that have faith in Toaru, and I think that's awesome. That excites me, because it starts with getting the novel license, and then sales go up, and money talks, and if there's more money in the franchise, then people will produce more. Suddenly, we might just get Index 4. We might just get it. Get it this year, but we might just get it. So,
Well, yeah. 20th anniversary next year.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. So even if you are anime only, I definitely would support. I'm not, maybe don't go out and buy it, or maybe do. Maybe even if you're not caught up, maybe just go out and buy it just because you want sales to increase. I definitely support it in any way you feel fit, because it's a trickle effect. So it's like supporting a manga of a favorite series. If manga sales go up, then these companies talk to these Japanese publishers. They do. They're like, hey, this is making money. Give us more. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. Like, the fact that they, like, YenPress made the omnibus, like the OT omnibus, with all the volumes of the original light novel series and the 2 side stories as well. The fact that they did that, even then, I was like, surely they're not going to do NT. I mean, it was like a pipe dream. Okay, maybe there was some chance, because by doing it, it does imply they might do it. But it's been like so long since, or it feels like it's been so long. I don't know when they last, published volume 22. It just made me think, like, maybe there's a bit of a chance if the omnibus does well, but maybe they're just waiting for an anime. But the fact that they've done it now is like, I think that's huge. I think it does say a lot. They must, like you said, they must have a lot of confidence in this going forward. And if indeed, like, we get, whether it's a season 4 or whatever, or Astral Buddy anime, I don't know what they'll do for the 20th anniversary. As long as it's something, this can only help.
Yeah, I am curious to see, like, why, because it is, like you said, it is a very bold move, especially when there was no anime adaptation to carry it through, because that's when normally, like, publishers, they release this stuff when there's an anime adaptation, where there just was an anime adaptation. There's something out there carry it through to boost sales for it. And I mean, I guess there is an anime adaptation of Toaru in general, but not NT. So it's like there is nothing to carry NT through it, and I think that kind of shows how much faith they have in it. I mean, isn't Toaru itself one of the best-selling light novels in
Second
Japan?
best now? It was first until the reincarnated as a slime, I think, passed it.
Yeah. I was like, it's definitely, because I remember when I first got into it, everyone was like, it's number one. Like, I think Sword Art Online was like getting up there with it in sales back in SEO's peak days. So yeah, I because that's when I was like, it was the best selling light novel, and I was like, oh, okay, so we're definitely getting more seasons of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think out of all the, I guess, niche-ish franchises, because I wouldn't really call it niche, because you do go into the 2-hour fandom and you just see all these people like, you like this series too? I mean, just look at chat right now. But so
let's go.
It's niche-ish. Like, it definitely has a dedicated fan base. So it's like, I think that's what makes it makes it so resilient, because the fan base, it's similar to like the Fate fan base in a way. Once you're in, you're in. Like, you're in. Like, you're not getting out. There's always going to be more for you to consume. There's always going to be more for you to learn. There's always going to be more story out there. So it's like, to release a novel without an anime adaptation just shows that somebody over there is just like, we got something. I'm telling you, we got something. Just trust the process. Let me cook real quick.
Absolutely.
Let YenPress cook.
Let YenPress cook. Let's cook. We got some.
So let me give a little bit of context, everyone.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
I was about to ask you.
I'm not gonna say it. Yeah. So first of all, ignore my icon. I lost a bet. So if you see me with a donkey head, don't question it.
I thought that was just a selfie.
Oh no, I got like 6 more days I could change it, but so pretty much most manga publishers, how does it work is, if there is a highly requested series, they are very aware. So like, I could guarantee you now, like, for example, Viz Media knows people want Kingdom, right? Like, it's not a given. Like, they're not oblivious to things. So like, most publishers know what's popular. And for YenPress, for example, there's a lot of certain series that are very popular. And New Testament is one of the most popular series. So even if it's like seems unlikely due to like the original series not selling the best, or like an anime adaptation or something like that, it's not doing the best. It's always because like the demand of the things can like just speak good in terms of like as a company, right? Because it could be like, oh man, I sell the well, but it's sort of like your status as a publisher, like you're actually like understanding what the fans like and doing what the fans want. So it's like a lot of factors that go into it. And I think the Old Testament Omnibus Edition, from what I understand, is gonna do quite well, just considering all the talk it's getting. And like they're doing pretty good marketing. So that seems pretty exciting. And what I actually assumed was, I thought it was gonna wait for this license until to see how the Old Testament does. But it seems like it got it much early, which is great. And I also think, just in general, this license happening is exciting, because Toaru is a big thing in Japan, and how America is handling Kadokawa, because now it's Kadokawa One Entertainment. So a lot of things are owned by Kadokawa now, like YenPress, Bookwalker, J-Novel Club, Anime News Network, all owned by Kadokawa. So it's more the fact, right? If like one of their biggest names in Japan by Kadokawa is like Index, it's sort of like, oh, well, the title recognition alone can speak greater than sales. So which was really great. So it's sort of like New Testament beat like the odds sort of type thing. Like, it didn't have to rely on an anime, just the presence of it alone in Japan. So that was really exciting. I was excited to see that license. And also, Toaru is at a pretty good spot right now, just in terms of like the franchise, especially since Seven Seas restocked all of Railgun.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so
yeah,
all Railgun
I saw that too.
Yep, so that's very exciting.
Definitely picking up post copies.
Yep. So it's like super exciting that the whole franchise, because actually some volumes, like there was like 5 volumes that were so out of print, they had to get a brand new ISBN number, barcode, and everything. So certain volumes, like volume like 7, actually said up for pre-order on Amazon, because it's been that out of print. Like, they can't even restock the current thing. They had to make a whole new book pretty much. So it was that out of stock. So like on Amazon, you see like Railgun Volume 7, it says pre-order. Well, it used to, but now it's in stock. So it was like that out of stock. So now Seven Seas is bringing their stuff back. Index is coming back with New Testament, and then obviously the Index manga is still ongoing from what I believe, it's the same translator as the light novels. And So the index manga. So he always been working on index, even regardless. And I'm pretty sure with SS1 and SS2, that was somewhat recent as well. So it's always been involved. And I believe his main series was actually, other than index, was a regular Magic High School. So they got like the whole Magic thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty much, I'm glad it happened. So overall, like people just like what most people say, like wait on an anime, right? But there's just so many factors going onto it, like behind the scenes, just knowing how publishers work. So I'm super glad it actually happened. And I'm because like I don't know if they was gonna wait for this potential anniversary, right, to see if there's an anime and just not do it if there's no announcement. So I was like always so scared, like oh no. But I'm super excited to happen. Like people talk about it a lot. I can guarantee everyone before the announcement was insanely aware, like where's New Testament. But it's also the reason, like, do anyone want to work on this for 7 years? Like the editor. So from what I understanding, there's like a brand new editor in charge of it. So it's gonna be good.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I'm glad it overcame that because, like, I wanted Index to be successful so much that I've like, whenever I buy the books, I also buy them digitally. So like, I double dip every single book, like in the hopes that it means getting more Index stuff. So I'm glad it's happening. Though apparently, I guess the numbers didn't matter that much.
Yeah, which was because like people, all I say is people expected much better of it. So like surprisingly, Railgun Volume 1 from Seven Seas is like insane. Like and for the English, it's like really good.
Yeah.
So side tangent. Do you know if, because you said they're restocking the Railgun manga, do you know if they're selling that in stores or it's just online only?
It's gonna be in stores as well. So pretty much like everywhere, like Barnes and Noble, Books a Million, like Kinokuniya.
Oh, we move. Move. Let's go. Let's go.
I can't imagine the stores like requesting all 18 volumes, but I'd imagine the more popular ones they probably have. Like definitely the beginning, the later, and probably the harder to find ones. But if your store does have like all 18 volumes, then you're good.
Let's go. We move. All right. You know where I'm going after this.
Yeah.
Dooney, let me ask you something.
Yep.
So, it's fair to say that because you work as a freelancer for YenPress, you knew about this much earlier than everyone else. What was your initial reaction to when you like discovered or had a hint of what was going to happen?
So it's actually so funny because like the information wasn't straight up told to me, right? But so many hints were just given, like sort of like teasing it away. Because that's like when I was an intern, I was like, I mentioned New Testament so much as an intern, and so it's like when everyone knew, they started like just doing the littlest of hints to make it add up. Like everyone like in the office, it'd be so funny. They could say like the most random thing. I'd be like, oh, and they'd be like, oh, what do you mean? Like they just start teasing me about it, like this information. It'd just be so funny. Then, because I was at Anime Expo. And then the announcement happened after Anime Expo. Then I just check a message of like, do I want to tell you all of Anime Expo about this? But I had to be quiet. I was like, I know I got the idea. I already like, and I was just super excited. Like, I was really excited. I was like, oh, it's happening. Like I was like, oh, putting the things together. So it was like really exciting. And I will say, I also got the question. I got the question quite a bit. So, because like for example, right? If they make a index video, I actually got one of the social media person at me in like our server saying, "What's Himi gone?" Because like one of the volumes featured like Himigami was missing in one of the the photos, and so like I'm like the go-to person when they have any question regarding the series. So like without, so like for example, one of the higher ups asked me, so hey Jaden, is it getting an anime? Like what's happening? I was like, I don't know. And I told him, well, there's Dengeki Bunko 30th, there's the anniversary coming up. He's like, okay. They just walked away. I was like, oh wait. So it's just like little things that just kind of makes it obvious at this point.
Wow. Yeah, it's funny that you're the connoisseur that has to explain all the memes and that.
Yeah.
Himigami getting shafted. Well, yeah, I'm quite surprised they didn't announce it like, well, I don't know how ready it was, but like Anime Expo instead of just announcing it out of the blue. But I guess it was like the day Homer met Index. I don't know if that was a coincidence or if that was planned or what. But,
from my understanding, that was planned. So I know they, like, for example, they released the Old Testament edition on like Sunday, which is like Church Day. So they revealed the imagery of the Old Testament on that day. So they've been a bit more timely with their stuff. And then also at Anime Expo, they announced Omnicrescent Reader Viewpoint, or which is insanely popular, what is the most requested series for like YenPress, the Korean comics. And so it's like they don't want it to overshadow such a big deal. There's a big license. So sort of like the goal is to have like a lot of good announcements, but the one that will like be big, should probably spread them out a bit. So that's why, like, from what I assume, at least, New Testament wasn't at Anime Expo.
Right. That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they still have it pinned on their Twitter, the New Testament announcement. 1,600 likes. Let's go. Almost like 1,000 retweets.
Views. Yeah, it had like 200k views. Really good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it does really good. And like, what else, like YenPress, right? They're like, most publishers, they're very aware of their fandoms. So like, for example, the people who work on the books are fans themselves. So like, if there's like stuff that's in Japan that's known, like it's like passion work. So like, they're just very aware. Like, for example, like randomly my boss got me, like, saw the NT trending from Aeon, and he decided, he's like, hey, what's this about? I was like, I think I'll explain him, like, oh yeah, pretty much it didn't happen. And he's like, oh, and then he just put an ice emoji, like kind of hinting to the announcement. It's like, it's just so many sides. It just teased me, like, I won't say it, but
that's absolutely mad. That fact that got noticed by YenPress. Like, legit. We'll talk about this because I mean, I've talked about it a lot. I did a members only video about it. Like, for those of you who aren't aware, I did like a live stream reaction to Dengeki Fest to see if there was going to be any announcement for Index, and obviously there wasn't. And then out of just the blue, like, I just did an improvised speech because I knew people were sad in the chat and just wanted to raise spirits. And I was like, let's get NT Index trending or something like that, just as like a tongue-in-cheek joke. I didn't, wasn't serious about it. I didn't think it would. Like, I was saying, yeah, let's raise our voices or whatever to be heard. Yeah, it's a bit cheesy, but yeah, I thought, yeah, I'll get like 10 people doing it maybe. And then, oh my lord, my phone. Legit, whenever I went into Twitter, I had like 5 notifications every few minutes. It was crazy. It was like really overwhelming at times, but yeah, I'm happy it happened. But insane, yeah. What did you guys think of it?
That was awesome. It was so funny because my friend tagged at me saying, wait, why is this trending? I was like, the power of Aeon, because she watches Aeon too. I like the power of Aeon. And then I showed my another friend because like he's like a One Piece fan who watches like nothing else. So he comes at me for like my niche anime, like Railgun. And so I'm like, see, I told you it's not niche. Look at it. And he's like, okay, but that's just for you. That's like your trending page though. And then an hour later, he screenshots me his. I'm like, oh wait, it's on mine too.
No, it was definitely cool to see. Is the power of Aeon really? But it was definitely cool to see that a lot of people just coming out and being like, yeah, we want this. And it was like I said, it's the dedicated fan base and how many people just look around and be like, we're here. Like, we're here. The fandom is here. So it was definitely really cool to see.
Crazy. Al?
You're going to inflate his ego.
No. No.
I don't think it can get any more inflated, but...
No. Listen. It would have happened if it wasn't for people in chat and people watching. Yeah, not just this stream, but people on Twitter, everyone. Because, if people didn't care about the series, my word would have meant nothing. So, I definitely did not make it happen. So, thank you. Thank you for making it happen.
And I can't lie, that
Yeah.
Noisy Pixel article is awesome. I love how they showed the love to the community.
Legit. Yeah, I was surprised that it got picked up by like some kind of news website. I was like, whoa, all right. I better take a step back now, just have a breather. Yeah, I had to take breaks on Twitter after that.
Yeah, I would.
Or X.com as it's known.
Yeah.
It'll always be Twitter.
I'm still gonna call it Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not calling it X.
I don't think
Yeah.
anyone will.
I need to find a plugin that switches it all back to Twitter on desktop.
Yeah, you're
no.
right. That should be a plugin.
Just like how is your voice changer thing a plugin?
No, it's a program.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's like a proper standalone client.
All right. Oh. Apparently, there's a Misaka voice on it, but
Yeah, I'll have to test it out.
oh god, I'm sure it'll be delightful.
It'll be something, I promise you that.
Oh dear, I don't think the world's ready for that.
You don't want Misaka Mikoto as a guest on your podcast?
I mean, I'm not gonna say no, am I? But at the end of the day, it's just a catfishing voice channel changer.
He said, "If
The
it's not
ultimate
the real
catfish.
one, if it's not the real one, no, I don't want."
Hey, but
Although-
think about the views.
Oh yeah, I interview Misaka Mikoto on the channel. Let's go. And it's gonna be
Yeah, we
Mal Saka.
We could reuse the face on the thumbnail for the Old Testament.
Oh boy.
Are there any? I wonder if there's any clips of her trying to like speak in broken English on the Japanese end. Because then, if you could like cut that up and then put it into like a voice training program, because I know a lot of English voice actors don't like their voices being used without their permission, or like at all, especially when it comes to like the AI stuff. Even though this is just sort of like a fun AI voice changer thing as a meme. But I think it would also be funny because it would auto adjust the voice to speak in like that broken English if you were to use it, or English. It's super funny.
Misaka's apparently fluent in English, but I don't know. I don't think the anime portrays it that well.
Yeah, that's true. But you know, it's sort of like whenever they have like American characters show up and they like speak English and it's like very much not American English or like any form of
Yeah.
English. It's just like this super thick Japanese accent.
Yeah.
Watching an
That reminds me
episode
scene
of
like SAO that happened in like the later season.
I was thinking like there's an episode of Detective Conan or Case Closed, depending on how you know the title, and like the main character's like on an airplane traveling to the US and like a flashback arc. They're trying to figure out who the killer is, and like one guy's it's like, oh, this guy's an American, and he like speaks. He's like an old American guy. He's like, hello, I am American. And it was like, oh, it was so funny.
So I was watching, I was catching up to like the Psycho-Pass franchise the other day, and the Psycho-Pass movie takes place outside of Japan. And you know how normally they speak English for like the first two lines, and they just switch it to Japanese and say they're speaking a different language because why would they keep speaking English? Yeah, no, they didn't do that. So throughout the entire movie, the Japanese cast is speaking this not English at all, and they continue to do it every single time in English speaking character, which there are a lot because the movie takes place outside of Japan. If there's an English speaking character, they're speaking English quotation marks around it, and you're like, can you just switch back to Japanese, please? Like, I understand they're from a different country, I get it, but please just switch back to Japanese. It's an entire movie, and it's about 2 hours long. It's an entire movie of just speaking broken English, and you're like, oh wow, this is not good. Who decided to do this?
Man, that reminds like an old anime OVA from like the 70s or something that's set in like California. And like it was all animated and recorded in Japan, but they had the Japanese voice actors like speak in English for the entire OVA. It's like this creepy OVA, like some weird like yaoi incest thing. It was so bad. It wasn't hentai. It was just like a weird old adaptation of some old manga. But they're speaking English the entire time, and it's so bad and so awkward, and just makes it so funny to watch.
Shall we move on to talking about spin-offs? Side stories?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else about NT.
Sure. I know RJ mentioned you've read Mental Out, is that right?
I read the first. I forget what chapter I started. I think the first like 10 chapters of Mental Out. I think the first like major. Well, the arc is still going on. Like, the first like major battle just finished. I don't want to spoil it, but the first like major battle just finished. But yeah, I'm reading Mental Out.
Yeah. Is anyone else caught up?
Yeah, I'm caught up.
I haven't read like the last two. I read the little story that they put out the other day, but I'm not like caught up on Mental Out at the moment. I'm sort of like for Mental Out, I like to let them like build up a few chapters and then just sort of read through them all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel I'm caught up with Mental Out. Can I tell you what happened in the 2 to 3 latest chapters? No.
Yeah, I definitely like to let them build up and just like binge read all of them. But no, I definitely enjoy Mental Out. Misaki has always been an interesting character. For me specifically, being an anime only, because I don't know her backstory. I don't know the connection. I've heard inner spoilers of her backstory with Toma, but I've always clicked off before the video got that far. So yeah, I've heard minor things, but I don't know the full backstory. So her getting her own series was rather interesting. And plus, there's nothing wrong with more Tokyo Dai. There's nothing wrong with more Tokyo Dai. So it's you said you disagree?
Yeah, when Railgun arc is ongoing with Mental Out shenanigans, I'm okay.
No. I'm having fun. Like we get past Tokyo Dai and then we get present Tokyo Dai. It's like I love it. I love it.
I haven't been a big fan of the current Railgun arc. And, in part, I think it gets a little worse just because it's sort of like running parallel with the Mental Out arc, and they both like have these student council things going on in them, and it's just like, why am I reading such like why is this happening like at the same time? There's no diversity in it.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I feel like if Mental Out just came like before this arc or after the arc, it would be like way different. Like just the vibe of like the current Railgun arc.
Yeah.
I understand that. I feel a lot of people have problems with the current Railgun arc. I feel like it's because it is kind of a slower pace than especially like the last arc, because I think the last arc was the prison break, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, after the prison break, which was just like hit the ground running. Oh my god, all this is happening. This new one where it's just like you have a bunch of student council or cliques as they call them, just talking for a good extended number of pages. It's like it really did slow down. Just let him cook. Let him cook. I think it'll be better on a binge. Let him cook with this.
Yeah. I didn't like what they did with Makoto. I don't like her being this more like blank slate, and she's just like, oh, all of the personality traits we love about her, she sort of just got them from this girl.
Yeah.
Kicking the vending machine, being sort of like snappy and all this stuff. Like Makoto she feels like a blank piece of paper in this arc. Like it's like some of the comedy's good with it, but then it's like, oh, here's her inventing the railgun. Here is this. Here is that. It's like, I don't know. It feels like a lot of her personality is just like, oh, here's everything about Mikoto that you like. We're gonna show you why it all happened within this span of like 3 days.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I liked her just being like this strong, like independent character on her own without having to like rely on others to, or like without having to like copy around. Like I liked her as like the leader, like, oh, she's like this because she's like the leader character.
You mean being influenced by others?
Yeah. I don't like her being so heavily influenced by others. Like I like her as the influencer, not the influencee.
That's fair.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from. I have to disagree, but I understand where you're coming from. And I find it rather interesting that we get to see like how she became the way she is, and just like, because I feel like the interesting part about Misuka's character in general is that she's, you know, really, really strong, right? And we're introduced to her as really, really strong. This isn't like a, you know, shonen protagonist underdog story. She has to build up her strength. Like, no, she's already top 3 of like, you know, the whole city. So it's like that's like the appeal of her character. But throughout Railgun, they keep telling us that just didn't happen overnight. Like that just didn't happen. Like she didn't become number 3 overnight. Like she actually worked for it, and she actually developed it. So I think now that we're seeing that, it's a lot interesting, because I think Misuka's strength plays a lot within her character, especially within the early arcs, like the sister arc. You know, she tried to do all of that by herself. That was the whole point. She thought, well, I'm third ranked level 5. Of course I can do this by myself. And, you know, she couldn't. And it was like seeing where all that came from, and seeing like her, where she didn't have that, you know, strong mentality. Like, I'm one of the strongest mentality. Like, she's not the strongest yet. She's getting there. I think it's rather interesting for me personally.
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like this arc does do a lot of, all of this stuff is happening overnight. Like, oh, here's the kicking the vending machine, her love for Gakuda, where her like personality comes from. Like all of it's like so rapidly close together, and it's sort of like, I don't know, it feels unnatural the way it's building her character there.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying. Oh, I haven't caught up. Last time I checked, I think about 2 chapters behind. Like they just revealed one of like the inside traders, but and then I stopped reading. But yeah, no, I'm definitely enjoying Railgun.
I've heard the latest chapter somewhat spices things up a bit, but yeah, I still need to catch up because it's been so long where I'm just like, yeah, I had the Tokiwadai fatigue where I just get confused about, oh, who's this girl? Like,
yeah, that's happened to me a lot. I'm like, am I just not concentrating enough? Like, I couldn't name her. Like,
it's like with the click or click thing going on. I don't know how you say it, but like this, they introduce so many new girls. It's crazy. I know they do like a battle royale style graphic where it's like shows you each of the 3 clicks or cliques, and then it's got like the names of the girls. So that helps, but still, it's like, what's this girl doing? Like, who does she belong to again? Like, so I really need to catch up to Railgun. I'll do that.
Part of me is just like, I'll wait for the arc to finish, but this arc's been going so slow.
Yeah. I will say this. I think other than like the pacing of the arc in general, I think the major problems is with the so many characters that come from Tokyo Eye. Like every single arc, we have a new Tokyo Eye student who's apparently this big deal that we've never heard of till this arc, and it's like they have this really like not specific, but really kind of, you would think they would be mentioned before power, and you're just like, where were you? And it was just it's very clear that they thought of a new design on the spot.
Yeah,
and put in a character in there. which is fine. It's very apparent and it's kind of jarring at times because every time you hit a new arc and there is this new girl from Tokyo Rai, and she knows Misaka. Like they know each other. Like it's not like this is their first time meeting. They always know each other. Like, oh hey, it's you, whatever your name is. Like, and it's like she's never brought it up before, and it's just like every single time. Like, how many students are in this school? Like, dear God.
Yeah, I think the only one that was like foreshadowed in the past was her old roommate.
Yeah. Her old roommate, of course, Shokuho. You know, all the ones we know. You know, what's her name from Astral Buddy manga? Is it Junko? Junko, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, Junko, all of them. The new girl in Mental Out, that is kind of the one I'm referencing. The one who's also running for student council. The one with the glove. I don't know her name.
You got the ones running for student council and Mental Out, and the ones running for student council and Railgun. You know.
Yeah.
It's a lot to keep track of.
Oh, I can't remember her name. Do you mean the girl in Mental Out?
Yeah, she's in love with girls being cute. I forgot that's her little gimmick. She has pigtails.
Oh, the one that's part of Misaki's clique?
She's not part of Misaki's clique. She's helping
Or
them. She's running against them.
Oh, that's right. You said candidate. I was thinking of the member of Judgment.
Yeah, I think Kaori. I think that's her name. She's new.
Yeah.
Like she's. At least I've never seen her before until Mental Out. I think she's new to Mental Out.
I think so.
Yeah.
But she's an interesting character. It's just that, you know, it was like, where are you? Like, where were you in the entire current story? Like it was very clear she was made specifically for this story to happen.
Yeah.
That's true. I wonder if they'll ever hit the limit of the number of students that are in Tokyo Rai, because I think it's like, I don't know, is it 300 or something like that? Or am I placing numbers there? I know there's a certain limit, but it will be funny if we ever get to that. But I know that you have different school years and that, so you recycle the students and everything, so who knows?
I mean, it becomes the gimmick of just, you know, expanding the world in general. Every show runs into this. I mean, a lot of people. Someone brought this up to me the other day. They were like, because they started watching One Piece, and they were like, wait a minute, aren't devil fruits supposed to be rare? Why does everyone have one? It's like, that is a good thing. Like, devil fruits are this rare item that they say it's so rare for devil fruits to be a thing. But you know, most One Piece
it makes sense in One Piece actually, because whenever you have a devil fruit power, and the most common thing for everybody to do is, or like what you're in the pirate era, so like so many people are becoming pirates, and the most successful pirates are going to be the ones with special abilities. So it makes sense for you to just like, as you get further along, it's more and more condensed down to who had like they're going to see more people with devil fruits, because like they're all condensed down close to each other. So even if they're rare, they're all coming together in the same place.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, to be honest, I enjoy it anyway. It's like, it's just a thing. I'm just like, whatever, it happens. I rather see more devil fruits than less devil fruits because they're cool. Why would you want to see more devil fruits? It's like, you know, even in like shows like Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, you know, how many Uchihas survived, how many Saiyans survived. Like, like they just keep popping up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the devil fruit thing is like in JoJo, where Stan users attract each other.
Maybe either way, I'm still along for the ride. I still enjoy it.
Yeah, and by expanding the world, it would be nice to, you know, like see other schools than Tokyo Rai. I get that it's, you know, one of the top 5 schools in Academy City, but what about the other 4 schools? What about Nagaten Joki or whatever that school is called? Or
I would love to see some of the other characters like school lives. I've always been curious about like, I mean, like Accelerator is technically a student, well, before current events. Like, what was it like if he ever showed up at school? how did students treat him? How was it like for Mugino at school? How's it like for like?
Implying she went.
Yeah, implying that she went.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting thing. I would definitely rather, but I would like to see that. I would like to see a Accelerator in a classroom, not in a sailor uniform, but.
Yeah, no. I think he was just. I think there was a parody story of, or like a non-canon story of him at school, like with Toma and everything. And Alistair was like the headmaster.
Yeah, that one was. I know which one you're talking about. I think that was a certain magical. I think it was like. There's so many like index like short stories, but I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Lose track, real. But I think like Accelerator was listed as a proxy at Nagasen Joki. So I don't think he actually went. He was just like there on like the official records, just because he needed to be as a student, while he was spending all the time in the dark side, shady labs, doing murderous things. Typical Accelerator fashion.
Yeah.
Well, still, like, yeah. I think that school though is meant to be like the best school in Academy City. I think it's a high school as well, not a middle school. So it will be good to learn more about it. Oh well. Ben Misaka with the super chat. Thank you very much.
Oh, let's go.
Getting a message, but appreciate you supporting the stream. Right. We mentioned Mugano earlier. Shall we talk about item?
Yeah.
So I mainly have a question. So regarding the item manga, like I know it's been announced like relatively long ago, and it's like artwork from the artist, but is there a date when it's actually gonna start serializing? Like,
yeah, kind of. I think we had a concrete date. I think you said fall. Sorry if I'm wrong, Mal. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't remember a specific date being given. I feel like they're probably like giving time for the second book to come out. That way they can either release it alongside it or like close to it, or the manga can sort of work its way through without having to worry about surpassing the source material.
That's fair.
Yeah, I definitely haven't been given a exact date. But yeah, I swear it was like August or fall, but I'm not sure if I'm just saying August because Volume 2 of the light novel releases then. I can possibly have a look.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah, 'cause I believe the item manga would be monthly, from what I understand at least. So
yeah,
I feel like it would take quite some time. I don't know if it'd be like, because some monthly manga have like 25 pages while other have 50. So it's sort of like there's not even information on that. So it's like how soon will it catch up? But I think it's definitely safer to have Volume 2 actually release, because like this is like, even for manga adaptations of light novels, that's very unheard of to get the manga announcement that fast.
Yeah, it was very strange. Like, it doesn't usually happen.
You know, it's sort of funny to think about. A few years ago, whenever we had Astral Buddy and Accelerator in at like the same exact time, and we were just down to Railgun and Index, I think, as like the only releases going on. And then Railgun started hitting the slow point, and everybody was sort of like, it feels like they're approaching like the end point for Railgun. It felt like every Toaru related project was coming to a close out of nowhere. And now all of a sudden we've got like more manga than before. Once Item comes out as a manga, we've got more of the mangas. We got another light novels series with the Item light novels releasing. So like we somehow ended up with like more content than we did a few years ago. It's really interesting that we're still getting so many side projects for Index.
Absolutely.
I think to be honest, it's come from just not wanting to expand the world in general, and also the fact that the side projects are mad successful. Like to the point where like the fandom is split between what's better, the side projects or the main series, and I think that's where it comes from. Like the fandom's demand in a way, just more side projects. Because the second they announced the item, light novel month, I was like, a Mugino series, I'll be there. Like so.
Well, did y'all see how many likes the Mental Out side story that for the Mental Out manga? Like how many likes that got?
No.
Or what it's sitting at right now? Bro, have you looked recently, Aeon? Because I'm looking at it right now.
Talking about like the
I've
views,
looked
yeah,
or are you talking about the likes?
Just the likes in general. Like the views are really high, but I think likes are a better term of engagement.
Yeah, I guess, but I'm not sure about the likes, but I swear, like for the, it was like 19.5 with Shoko and Terma in it. I swear it had like millions of views, but I'm not sure about the likes.
So the likes are at 41.3k likes.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Which apparently this is like really like a lot of people didn't realize there was a Mental Out manga going on, and this is like really blown it up in terms of success. At least that's what the Railgun editor has been hinting at. It's at 8.6 million views.
Ooh, that's really good. I remember when Mental Out first got announced, it was sort of like the vibe of like really saying, oh, this is like a more of a project where you gotta perform well to continue type vibe. So it's because like from understanding, most of the stuff will release in magazines while this is like digital. So it was like a risk. So people were saying like, oh, well, support this to make it continue. So I find it funny how that was the case for Mental Out, but with the item manga, it just spawned. So
Right.
it's like just the difference alone. But it's also really good to see like just the metrics of because like digital, right? Because it's either like at the start, people's like, oh, we want this to happen, let's support it. But that's what I was assuming that phase like just went away because like it's getting physical releases in Japan now. So for it to still doing that well, because like the site it's on, it's a relatively big site, but nothing major to have like a random person scrolling through their site and be like, whoa, was that Misaki? Like I feel like that wouldn't happen. So it's like good to see like reoccurring people that's checking the site. Then Japan, that must be a really good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite surprised, like, people didn't know about the Mental Out manga, because even in my comments, like, people mention they weren't aware it actually existed, but it just shows you that, there's still Railgun fans or whatever who like it, haven't discovered it yet, so hopefully, I mean, on the Japanese side of things, it looks like it's promising. And we got a super chat from Disconnect Sealed. Likes for the Mental Out manga. I think he means links, or she. What website or app do you use to see that? Well,
they typically get uploaded to the mangaka's Twitter account. They have an official Twitter account for the series that they usually upload the new chapters on in Japanese. If you're looking for like an English translation, there's no official English translation at the moment. So if you want it in English, you're gonna have to look for it. Just type it into Google typically.
Thank you for the diplomatic answer, Mal.
Yes.
Expertly handled. Well, yeah, as Mal has iterated, you can also get like the Japanese volumes on bookwalker.jp. That's what I use when I want to support Mental Out. Yeah. The English, I don't know. It's somewhere. You have to dig for it.
I'll throw the official handle for it on Twitter into the chat if people want to look at it. That's the official handle right there.
Yeah. Nice one. Yeah, thank you for the super chat. Okay, shall we?
I mean,
Yeah.
X.com. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Of course. Boo.
We can
Never
keep telling
give
it to her,
Elon.
it'll change back eventually.
You reckon?
His ideas always fail. I can't list one idea he's had since Twitter started that actually stuck.
He's not giving his kid a name change, or has he?
That poor child. Like, my phone says Twitter, but the icon is X. So it's like, he didn't even fully change it himself. So it's not sticking. It's not.
Yeah,
I've
like,
heard
my
they can't
desktop is
change
updated.
it to X in Japan. Like, they have to keep the Twitter branding in Japan because there's a band that has X already copyrighted there. So,
And I just love how he doesn't think about like anything else. Like, he just, if he wants it, just rolls with it and then deal with the consequences like much later.
Absolutely.
I mean, whatever. Like, it's a win-win either way. Either Twitter becomes a better platform or it dies. I'm happy either way.
Disconnect sealed again, the super chat. Thank you for support. I know where to find English translations and manga. Oh, okay. I was just confused when you said it has likes. Oh, so that's what we were referring. Yeah, I think we were.
Oh yeah. The likes were on the Twitter handle I just gave, X handle that I just gave.
I'm changing.
Yeah, you can see it there. They post the full mangas there.
Yeah, that was for like the tweet promoting it, so it showed a few.
Yeah, so go and check
scans
out the
from
Zeets.
Yeah. Check it out. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for the super chat again. Appreciate it. Right. Is it okay if I read out Item Volume 2 synopsis? Or are anime only people going to be against that? Or
I haven't read it. Is it spoilery at all?
I mean, it might spoil what's going to happen in the volume, but I don't think it spoils like Item 1.
I mean, I'm caught up, so I'm fine with it because it's a
Yeah,
synopsis.
I'm just concerned about
Right,
like
yeah.
RJ. I don't know if
Yeah.
Uni.
I read like the first. My attention span was so bad, I didn't even finish it.
Oh,
You
well,
haven't finished
big
volume
fan.
1?
No.
What?
Dude,
It was
why-
really entertaining though.
Yeah,
That was
I sort of like I thought like whenever me and Aeon did our podcast on that specific volume, one of my issues with it was one of the first couple chapters I felt were really slow and I didn't like have energy to read through it.
Yeah,
But
like,
it picks up on the second half for me.
like I thought it was interesting. Like, it's not even because I didn't like it, right? Like, it was interesting, but I just, oh no, just my attention span was so bad that week or something. I just couldn't continue. And I was like, all right, I get to it. Then something work related comes up. All right, I get to it. Then I just forgot about it.
Listen, I know what Kamachi's like. He loves more than anything a slow build up in the first 2 chapters, and then he just goes absolutely ham. Chapter 3 and 4, 9 times out of 10. There are some exceptions, of course, but for Item, I actually enjoyed like the interactions with the members and that. I liked. It started off with like the prologue was pretty much like I won't spoil it, but it was action, and then it went slower pace, and there was like a fight at the end of chapter 1, and he went a bit slow again, but there was some, I don't know. I thought it was good by Kamachi standards, but hey, that's just my opinion.
Go ahead and
Like-
read the synopsis.
Am I okay to read it?
Yeah. It's a synopsis.
Okay. Alright. Item Volume 2 releases in August, which is very soon. Item receives a new job, but a blonde girl who can manipulate minds stands in their way. Now that Item officially has 4 members, a new job arrives for them. Their target is Honey Queen, a beautiful marriage scam artist who operates online. She has reached the secrets of the Esper development, and her victims include some of the Meltdowner development staff. The ways of the dark side will not let this stand, so Mugano accepts the job. As soon as they accept, Item's hideout is attacked. The attacks continue after the initial strike. An item has a feeling the enemy is luring them somewhere. Once cornered, item is faced by the former lead Meltdowner researcher, who was driven out of the research institution for being too extreme, even for the dark side. So, sounds very interesting.
Yeah,
And
I'm really into that.
The main discussion point, of course, is this Honey Queen. Obviously, we know who it could be referencing. Like, it's blatantly obvious it possibly is Shokuho, but would it be a scam
says
artist?
Honey Queen was the marriage scam artist, right?
Yeah, we're being a scam artist. It throws a spanner in the works, so it's like, oh, is it someone pretending to be her?
Maybe. My immediate thought was like, it's gonna be somebody with like a more personal relationship to Misaki, since Misaki's name is literally like related to bees. I don't think I get the feeling it's not going to be Misaki who is like the Honey Queen or somebody like using her identity. I think it's just they're going to have some sort of personal relationship to each other. But
Oh, and this volume's coming out in August, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a date yet, or just August?
Usually the 10th for new volume. Around then.
Okay, cool.
Did
I
they
will
put
try
up
to
the
cut up-
preview?
Not yet. Well, I'm not sure where the illustrations came from, because like we got the colored illustrations at the start of the volume. So I don't think the preview is up yet. Wrong, but I would have thought JSO 6 would have been on that immediately. In typical JSO
That's
6
actually a good
fashion.
point, because those inserts just spawned out of nowhere.
I haven't seen the
Yeah.
illustrations yet.
Yeah, it looks like we might be learning more about Mugano's backstory, maybe, about how Meltdowner was developed, which sounds pretty good, because we don't know an awful lot about her backstory. It's all pretty murky.
I hope Misaki
Unexplored.
doesn't die.
It's a prequel! She won't! Anyway.
You sound like the Jujutsu
RJ.
Kaisen fans right now.
RJ, what do you think about, like, I know you haven't gone into it, but like the idea of the item series and that?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely can't wait for the manga to come out, because I'll probably start reading it then. But definitely sounds interesting. When it was announced, I was like, oh hell yeah! Like, no, Item was always, for me personally, Item was the highlight of they were in season 2 of Railgun, right? Yeah, Item was the highlight of season 2 of Railgun. I mean, the rest was still good, but like the whole Item arc when they fought Misaka, I was like, this is awesome. Like, their introduction was great. Oh, definitely, they're getting their own series. I think as a group, they're definitely rather interesting, especially with all their abilities and quirks and personalities. So definitely seeing them take on different missions and learning more about the dark side of Academy City and actually, seeing it instead of just someone try to kill Accelerator again it seemed rather interesting. So definitely hyped to check it out.
Yeah, I'm very curious how they're going to adapt it into the manga version. I think, like, from reading Volume 1, if it's just going to be like a direct adaptation, it's going to be like, a great experience, like seeing it in front of your eyes rather than trying to imagine some of the events and stuff. So I definitely will appreciate that aspect of it, and I think I'll love it even more, because I thought Volume 1 of Item was spectacular. Like, it blew my expectations out the water. Like, I'm not exaggerating at all, because I went and like, oh yeah, it'll probably be decent, because Railgun has a few like light novel side stories that aren't that great. So that's where like my bar was. So I was like, yeah, if it's better than those, then. But no, legit, it has great fights. Like, new characters are really cool. Has
The
a lot
ending
of twists. Yeah, the ending won't spoil the ending, but oh my lord. Okay. I'm curious how that plot line's going to develop now that we're getting, volume 2.
Completely abandoned.
Yeah, God knows. Oh, did you say completely abandoned?
Yeah.
No, it can't. Why do you say that?
It's gonna go the way of Himagami.
No. Will Sport. So yeah, we'll see what happens, and yeah,
Artwork.
it is
Because the artist, I follow the artist on Twitter. So the artwork, is already amazing. I was like, oh, I like the new designs for everyone. It looks really good.
Yeah, the art's great. I have high expectations for the manga art too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I prefer the manga art to the light novel art for Item at least.
Yeah,
It definitely
manga-
has a bit edgier looking to it, I think.
Yeah.
But they were an assistant for whatever Agami Kill or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like her other series, Hinowa Got Crush.
I know.
I know-
Kamanaka, I don't know the other one.
Yeah, Akami got killed. Yeah, they were an assistant for that manga, which I think
Mhm.
that's a good style that would fit well with mental or item. So
Mhm.
I have high expectations.
Yeah, and that artist, if you've seen any of the pages in the manga, that artist can draw some female character designs.
Huh?
Oh,
Just the
really?
way I
Like the art, like for example, those series I was regarding, Hino Got Crush, it's like focuses on like female characters, sort of like what I assume item. So I think
Mhm.
like in terms of artists, that's what she specializes in, the artist. So
Oh, well, we're gonna be eating good then. We're gonna be eating good.
yeah.
Sure. More Mugano is always a blessing.
Ain't that the truth? I mean,
Yeah, and I think she's currently having a swimsuit banner in Imaginary Fest as well. I just keep seeing it pop up on my Twitter. Just
Yeah,
the
every
first
time I
thing.
refresh, I see another one.
Yeah. It's that time of year. The swimsuit banners are out. Full
It's
force.
time to log on Twitter. I mean, right now my entire Twitter feed is FGO because the
Yeah,
8th
yeah,
the
but
8th
that's
anniversary is happening right now. So
my
Oh,
talent's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually doomed. It's Fate Grand Order and Kaisen and Fortnite.
yeah. To be honest, I've only seen a couple of JJK and Fortnite things, but it's mostly FGO. Like it's going crazy. That's my entire timeline.
It's crazy that like FGO has like made more money in total than Infinity War and Endgame combined.
Ain't it though? And it still has yet to receive a proper anime adaptation. I mean, it's weird to go on
Wait,
tangents.
was what it got not an anime?
I mean, it is, but
Okay.
that's nothing. That's like
Yeah. Okay. So FGO animes, we have the OVA, and then we have another extended OVA that adapt. We have the OVA that adapts like the first part of the first section of the story. The first what they're called? What are they called?
like singularities.
Singularities. There we go. Thank you. Or we have the first part of the singularity, like the introduction to FGO, and then we have the actual entire singularity adapted, which kind of rushed. And then they skipped all the rest of the 5 singularities and went straight to the last one, Babylonia, and adapt that fully into an anime. Then they adapt the final singularity, Solomon, into a movie. So that's
Who-
the FGO anime. They
Who
literally
did the adaptation
five
for FGO?
for which one?
Were they all done by different studios?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're all.
pretty much.
I think mostly Cloverworks did Babylonian Solomon, and then the first 2 OVAs were done by.
I think
someone else.
I know Production IG had involvement in one of them, but for the
Yeah.
Fate Grand Order, the anime are just marketing, so they're not trying to adopt it in terms of a story. They did it in like popularity.
Mhm.
So it's also weird because there's 2 ongoing mangas for Fate Grand Order, and they're both trying to pretty much rush to singularities. So you got one manga adopting the even numbers, then the other manga adopting the odd numbers. So it's like they're ongoing at the same time. But the even number was on hiatus for like 2 years. So now it's finally back. So now the odd number just surpassed it. So like in terms of story, it just doesn't make sense.
I see. You know, y'all are reminding me why I hate Fate so much.
And then,
about that, man. Welcome.
to make it worse, you also got the extra stories like Shimosa and stuff. I'm a big fan of the Shimosa manga, and that just.
Which one's what?
The Shimosa manga.
Yeah, like what's the name for that? I'm reading like pretty much everything.
It's like Fate Remnant. Shimosa. It's the one with Musashi.
Oh yeah. I read the. I know
Good
Kodansha have the rights for that digitally, which makes honestly no
They
sense to
don't.
me.
They don't, and I was like, that's like the best one. That's like the best side one, especially with the Samurai Remnant game coming out. I was like, that's like the best. Like,
Yeah,
this is the time to license the Shimosa manga.
it's like I'm reading like Red Line. I'm reading Strange Fake. I'm reading like pretty much everything. I haven't read any of the Remnants though.
I was reading Strange Fake. I'm gonna stop reading Strange Fake because that anime adaptation was just killer. I'm gonna wait for the anime. I am reading Red Line though. Red Line is really good.
Valid.
But
My history with Fate is I tried to watch the original anime for it. I thought it was crap and dropped it after like 2 episodes. And then when I went to the store one day to buy a PSP game, they had Fate Extra on sale for like $10. So I bought that. Right. And I was like, people say Fate's based off a video game. I didn't like the anime, but hey, this is a video game of Fate, surely. And I don't really know about the visual novels because there wasn't a release of it in the US at the time. So my assumption was, these must be the games that it's based off of, because it's already confusing enough to even know what Fate is. So I play Fate Extra, and it's just rock, paper, scissors RNG is RPG combat. And I was like, wow, this is the worst RPG combat I've ever experienced in my life. It's literally just, there's a 33% chance of you winning.
Yeah, like I went back to the game because like the new one is coming out. It just seems so dated to me. Like it's not even the oldest of game, but it's just dated.
I looked at the new one. I was like, oh, maybe they fixed it and I can like enjoy it this time, because I did beat the original one. It was horrible, but I beat it. And then so I'm like watching the trailer, and they brought the rock, paper, scissors back again. Why? That was the worst thing ever. Why would you bring that back? I thought you were remaking it to make it good. So yeah, I didn't like it. And then like whenever I was like looking at the servants and stuff, I was like, wow, hey, do they have a servant of this famous person in history? I'm a big fan of this person. Look it up. Oh, they did make him. He's now a cute little girl. I hate Fate.
Okay.
Thomas Edison's in the game? Cool. What'd they do? He like invented light bulb and whatever. Maybe they did something. He's a lion. Why is he a lion? I like an elephant would have made more sense because he killed an elephant that one time, but why a lion?
Lions are cool.
Why Thomas Edison?
To be
How
honest,
does that even make sense?
I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I the personal belief that Fate Extra is the worst installment of Fate anything. Because it is, not only is it the most confusing, don't ask me to describe what Moon Cell is to you, but not only is it the most confusing, but it also is just, I don't know, just all over the place with its story. I think it's literally the worst. I don't know why.
I thought the setting was cool.
It is cool. It is cool, but
everything else, not cool.
Like, I know this is your podcast, but I gotta say my big hot take. Fate Prisma Ilia is like one of the best things in the Fate franchise right now.
The only thing I've seen from that is like lollies making out.
Yeah. Listen.
Oh, no, that's not what I mean. Like the manga, right? The anime, okay, those scenes are heavily enhanced in the anime. I just said yes, okay.
I know, you just said yeah, I know. And it's like, oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Like the anime and heavily enhanced that. The manga is actually insane.
He's kind of
on that note, let me read the super chat out. Sorry, guys. This gets sealed again. Thank you so much. What legend? Appreciate it. Modern Fate is fine to me, but I have a love-hate relationship with the original Fate Stay Night and its anime adaptations at certain points, because almost every villain is an R for some reason.
I mean, I assume they're talking about the Saber route. To be honest, it's Studio Dean. I blame Studio Dean. The Saber route adaptation, the original 2006, 2008, I forget which year it came out.
Yeah, I think
it's just a bad adaptation. So anytime someone tells me they started with a bad adaptation, with that, I'm like, well, yeah, I can understand why you don't like Fate.
Yeah, like Studio Dean, they adapted the artwork pretty good, better than Ufotable. Ufotable is more artsy, but in terms of like the stills of the visual novel, it's pretty like 1-to-1. But in terms of like a cohesive story, it's like, okay, I really hope Ufotable will like do another big Fate thing with like the original and then Hollow Ataraxia.
Yeah, so Ufotable needs to do what they need to do is they need to release the Saber route so we can have just all three done by Ufotable. They need to do Hollow Ataraxia, and then I need Cloverworks just to sit down and just to adapt all of FGO properly from start to finish. Well, it's not finished. From start to the to the first section of the story, all the singularities basically.
Valid.
Maybe
That
not
81 to adopt
Maybe-
Redline.
Maybe not the Lost Belts yet. We can wait for the Lost Belts, but they need to adapt all the singularities. Maybe not just the last one, and then say, "Here, you guys go."
I think Cloverworks did the adaptation of Persona. They did Persona 5 and Yeah, they did Persona 5. That was horrible.
Yeah, but
That anime was horrible.
They did like Buddy Go Senpai, which is pretty good.
That's like everything makes sense. Like with what you're talking about with Fate Go, it's the same exact thing they did to the Persona 5 anime.
Yeah, they either they need to give up the rights because they're not good at adapting games to anime. Because Persona 5, I remember watching Persona 5 and I was like, why is this just the game? Like it's word
just
for
the
word.
game, but worse. And
Yeah,
then
I
it's
was
like,
like-
oh, we're gonna skip like 3 of the arcs at the end and then just do like the last 2 arcs as like OVAs. And it was like, what?
Yeah, it was like watching a Let's Play of Persona 5 on shuffle.
And then like if you watch the as it was releasing, like they didn't even finish a lot of the animations. Like they do their all out attacks animations. And then whenever it like got to like their special pose at the end, they would do it, but they didn't add like any of the words and stuff in the original airing or anything. And it just like there wasn't audio properly mixed in, so they just landed and did their pose and there wasn't like anything to it. And then if you watch the Blu-ray release version, like they added all the animation and stuff and the audio corrected and stuff, and it's just completely different. And it's just like it was very much not done whenever it was airing, which is so confusing because it's such a big property.
For me, Cloverworks is such a hit or miss. Not hit or miss, but they have great production value. Terrible, like whoever is deciding these adaptations, they need to rehire someone else. For some reason, they decide to turn arcs that shouldn't be movies into movies. That shouldn't be TV shows into TV shows, and I don't think they really understand what can work. Whoever, especially with FGO, what can work, because like the Camelot movies, there's no reason why Camelot should have been movies. Like that arc is too dense for it to be a movie, and it was literally a rush. It looked great, it looked pretty, as all Fate does, besides the original one. It was like it was a rushed adaptation, and you were just like, why should I care about any of this?
Yeah, it seems like they're pretty good at adapting manga. Like they did Spy X Family and Bocchi the Rock. But their video game adaptations are just not great. They clearly don't want to like properly do everything. Oh, they also did Wonder Egg Priority, which I've only heard bad things about.
Okay, listen, Wonder Egg Priority could have been the next anime masterpiece. It's just that ending, that last episode just ruins it. It's such the biggest anime disappointment I've ever experienced. Like, it was so good. And that last episode just took everything they did, threw it in the trash can, pissed on it a little, and just spat on your grave. Like, it was terrible.
The last episode was another one of those, oh, we're not going to release it right away, and it's going to come out in like 4 months randomly.
Yeah.
They do that for like every... That's
By the way,
guys.
Working the animators, so.
By the way, sorry, I apologize sincerely to interrupt this very interesting discussion, but I've got to read out some super chats. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, please do.
Disconnect sealed again. Wow, thank you so much. Like, you're on a roll. You might beat the was it Galaf and I forgot who else, but from the previous stream. But yeah, thank you so much. No, I mean almost every villain in a I'm not going to read that word out because I don't want to be demonetized. Gilgamesh, Medea, Dark Sakura, Shinji, Sakura, Dad. Alright.
Yeah, no, they are. They're right.
Yeah.
They're right.
I guess because, the game has some certain scenes in it which goes along with that kind of content. I don't know. I've not played the visual novel. Yep, there you go. I don't know if there's connotation there.
I remember hearing that the hentai was actually just the worst part of the game, the original one. Because it wasn't very good, apparently.
It wasn't. It just definitely don't read the original visual novel. Just start with what we know Fate as today. Like, it's not worth it.
I tried reading the original. It was the version that doesn't have the sex scenes in it. But yeah, I thought it was boring. I got like 8 hours into it and was like, yeah, I hate this. I give up on Fate forever. Goodbye.
No.
Also, we got Brumakian Productions. Thank you for super chat. Days, thank God I'm playing Persona 5 Royale. I never played it, so I can't say much about that. All I know about Persona is the music.
The music that every YouTuber uses in the background.
Yeah, that's so accurate. Legit.
They add a RuneScape music. It's the weirdest thing.
True. I'm sorry for interrupting the discussion. I know you probably lost your train of thought from my...
No, I remember.
We should probably say what talking
about. Yeah. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Fate Go podcast.
Listen, Toaru just means a certain, so it can mean anything.
It's true.
It was all planned, just as planned, as Alistair would say. Yeah.
Has Alistair Crowley been put into Fate Go yet?
No.
Yeah, but he's coming. Don't worry about it.
I wonder if he'll be a cute girl.
Yeah.
Or a trap.
Hey, you leave Astolfo alone, all right?
No problems there. Astolfo's like the most popular character now.
We love Astolfo, all right?
I just don't want it to be whenever I Google Aleister Crowley anime that then I'm gonna get a bunch of Fate Go feed art.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny because you Google King Arthur and all you see is Saber. Anymore. You don't even get the actual King Arthur, you just get Saber. Like
Nero.
Meme.
God,
somebody's gonna be learning about him in a King Arthur for a school project. They're gonna be so confused after the initial Google search. Wait,
so
what'd the fairy tale do?
Gilgamesh apparently one time.
Wait, his sword was invisible? Huh?
It's crazy.
Wait, I thought this was medieval times. To think it actually took place in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Nah, I mean he loved Fate, to be honest. Anniversary is killing it. I think we have one more day of the fest.
Yep.
Today's the second day. So it's like a 3-day convention thing. So, but you're a Fate fan, you're eating good because they're announcing a bunch of stuff. Who knows what they're gonna announce on the last day? I mean, they already released like the Memorial movie, which was incredible.
It's so good.
It was pretty fire. That's why if FGO ever got like a proper anime adaptation, I think probably one of the best anime fantasies. Again, we can only dream, right?
Only time will tell. You guys want to do the Q&A? or we'll ask for questions and then see who sends them in. God, English. I think I'd be good at it, being British, but I'm not. Right. So yeah, send in your questions, either for all of us or one person in particular if you got anything to ask. But remember, be careful about spoilers. For those who aren't caught up, just be aware, and I will read and filter out any ones that are dodgy. So yeah, while that's settling down, I know that people are asking for like an Imaginary Fest global release, I guess because Fate Grand Order had one, but I just don't see it happening because like Fate just seems to be a lot more popular in the West. But I don't know if ever Toaru could like get to that stage. I think those days are gone. But hey, maybe one day like this series will get more popular over here. Who knows?
Yeah, like I only think it's possible if it's because like Square Enix, right? But it's just there's a lot of games in Japan that are just simply bigger as a franchise than Toaru, and it yet to happen. That's like my main doubt. Like, like if it haven't happened for these other big, I can't name one off the top of my head, but I know there's a lot. And, like if they haven't happened for these yet, that sort of question like what would make this one so special for it to get global?
There's just not enough fetish art of Index.
Why, Mal?
I'm just saying, if there's some more feet and armpit pics, then we'll probably see a big influx of fans.
Is that what Fate is?
Yeah,
it's part of it.
Doing good.
No, basically, a lot of the Fate community kind of thrives off the fan art. I mean, I know a lot of people have seen fan arts of Fate, and it's like, oh, wait, where is that character from? Is the designs of, and then that's how people get into it. Or, you know, just the animation fight scenes and all that stuff, and people, you know, it's just, they see Saber and Lancer going at it, and they're like, oh my god, where is that from?
Yeah, like comic market in Japan, like they're on like 101, and even like Type Moon have a presence there. There's like a lot of the big Fate artists go there. It's pretty much just marketing heaven for Fate.
It's like Toho, but more degenerate.
But I do find the fandoms kind of overlapping. Like every time I meet a Fate fan, I'm like, oh, I also love Toaru. They're like, oh, me too. So it's like, I find the fandoms overlapping a little bit. Like, you know, they are similar in a way. Like similar stories, but like similar, like niches in a way. Like they're both rabbit holes, right? So if you like one rabbit hole, you're bound to like the other. You know, unless you're Mal here, but you're bound to like the other. So it's like, you know, if you like one rabbit hole, you're bound to like another rabbit hole, and they're both like, I guess like out of anime rabbit holes within like the community, and Toaru would kind of be like the two biggest ones. The only thing I think is kind of competing with it is like Monogatari, something like that.
Yeah. Monogatari, it's like that's got like a big filter on it, just how it's animated and stuff.
Yep. So I've heard. Alright. Now we answer some questions.
Let's go.
Do it.
Right. Okay, so remember everyone listening. One question per user. I don't want like one person asking a billion things and we'll be here all day. So just limit it at that. That would be nice. So, Drunk Waifu, what a great username. Do you think we will get a Byajo spin-off? Oh, started off strong here with the questions. I don't think so, but I really hope so. Like, oh, Byajo is the priest from the Iceboats arc. He's just the greatest Toaru character in existence, in my opinion. The complexities and depth of his character, peak villain. What do you guys think?
I don't think he'll get a spin-off. I think he'll become the new main character of Index at some point. I think they'll replace Tomo.
Yeah, like I get the vibe. Like, and people say Toaru isn't popular. I feel like if this guy was the front, oh yeah, it's no question. It's not even a question.
I don't think that will happen, but we can dream.
For real. And we got a super chat from Ben Misaka. Thank you. Would you guys consider Index a fantasy or a science fiction? Oh, I like this question because Yeah, I consider it as both because
It's sort of like urban fantasy.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not
Like-
an English major, but
How I market it to my friends, I'm trying to get them into it. I kind of tell them it's like a mix of science, fantasy, magic. So I feel like, because I just feel like a lot of people like science fiction in terms of like anime. So I typically lean to say, oh, it got science, but it also have this and that. So I'd say like both. I'd say.
Yeah, it's a combination of both. So it's like it's a fantasy. It's a supernatural science fiction. I guess I would. That's how I would categorize it as. Because it like even the Esper abilities are based in science, but you know, we can't do a railgun. Yeah, no matter how hard we try, there's no way. Like her abilities are based in science, but there's no way we could actually be happening in real life. So that is kind of the supernatural element of it. Although it's based in science, so it's like it's both.
Yeah.
It's both.
Yeah, I just go with urban fantasy because the literal definition of that is a type of fantasy fiction in which a narrative is set in a city.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually.
yeah. I mean, yeah, and plus, when you think of fantasy, you think of like kind of like Lord of the Rings or Narnia, medieval style supernatural creatures. But yeah, it's more of a modern urban fantasy because Index does have supernatural creatures and magic, and I guess not wizards because they're called magicians. It does have witches, to be fair, as well, but they're more of a small party in it. But yeah, I consider it both, and then obviously, yeah, Esper powers and technology it has, which is futuristic, and yeah, with Academy City having a lot of magic connections, you know, with scientific angels and a board chairman who has possible links to the magic side. Alright, thank you for the super chat. And next question, Geek News. How much do you want to see Alice Tan in Fate Grand Order? We were talking about this somewhat.
10 out of 10, 100%. Yes, make it happen.
Yeah, I want it just for. I just imagine Googling the character, but you see all this, but randomly one of the index version pops up on the Google search where you're trying to find the Fate Grand Order character or the real life. That's a thing too. And they'd be like, "Oh, what's this one?" And then they click it, then they get into the Toaru series. Just another way.
Nah, I'd hate it. It's stupid.
You still want Fate Alice to be more popular than Index Alice to. Knowing Fate, it would happen as well, probably.
I mean,
I would try
Alistan is basically
night.
what Fate does anyway, so you know.
Yeah, I guess so. Alright, next question. Salty Savage Gaming asks, did you buy the Omnibus light novel? Well, technically not. I was gifted it, or given a review copy, I should say, by YenPress, so I was very fortunate. Thank you very much to Tooney and everyone at YenPress for arranging that. It's a massive privilege, and I absolutely love the product, and I'm really happy I got to show everyone why it's so amazing. So, but honestly, I could buy it again if I want to. Like, if sales are not good, listen, I don't mind doubling down. But I'm sure, yeah. Who's picking one up here? I know Mal, Junior. I think you've given one.
Yeah.
Probably got one pre-order.
Yeah, I got it pre-ordered.
Yeah, mine was more for like marketing purposes. So there's gonna be, well, I don't know. I did marketing stuff for it, so that was the reason why I got my copy. And a video, which I'm sadly delayed on, but hopefully have it soon.
Oh, hype. Forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. Prince Manic. What do you think is the reason for Kamachi not making a Magic Side spin-off series? That's a good question. So, from what I gathered, it's more to do with, like, the editors. At least, I remember the Railgun editor mentioning that there was, like, plans to do a Russian Orthodox Church spin-off at one point, but it got cancelled. Was it due to COVID or something, or did just like nah, screw this?
Dang.
So, yeah, I think he did mention that, which that would have been great. This would have been nice to have I mean, we got Magic side stories, but they're not like a full proper spin-off like Railgun or Dark Matter or Accelerator, whatever. but yeah, it just seems. I think at the moment they also mentioned that just because the science side is more popular because of the Railgun anime being more popular because Index.
Because they actually do a good job with it.
Yeah, it will be nice for the main series to be given the treatment it deserves, but oh well, sorry for another day. Like Index 3 getting enough episodes and not being rushed would be nice as well. But yeah, it's to do with Pokiwadai and Science Side being more popular, unfortunately, because yeah, maybe one day, who knows? But I think the road they're going on now is giving every level 5 a spin-off, because I mean, technically, Item is Mugano a spin-off. Let's face it. So I also remember them mentioning that if Mental Out sells well, Sogita might get a spin-off from the Railgun editor mentioning that. So we will probably see a Sogita spin-off, which would be absolutely hype, because he's the hype merchant of the franchise. Not sure if we'll see an Ihon Etsu spin-off, but yeah. Anyone else want to talk about this question?
I just assume that the characters in Science are just more marketable. Like doing series it's a gamble, right? So I feel like just in terms of like just playing the safe card, being more comfortable, they're just more marketable characters in the Science side. Like people, even though the fans may want magic, right? It's like the risk. Like, will it actually do well, or just the select fans that care enough?
No one else?
Yeah, I pretty much think that that's the reason why. It comes from the love of Railgun and just the love of Academy City itself. Of course, you can still have it take place in Academy City. I think it's easier to explore the setting of Academy City if you stay on the science side, and that the world of the city is easier to explore, because you get to experience things like the dark side of Academy City and things like that. And the characters are more beloved over there. So I definitely would love a magic side spinoff.
Please make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the science side, but yeah, we'll be nice. We'll see. Okay, Matrix from my Discord server. Nice to have you here. Guys, have you heard of the Toaru IF fandom project? Thoughts? Yeah, of course I've heard of it. I'm voicing Aqua.
That's the one where they're voicing the cutscenes?
Yeah, or just like, game.
I have not heard of it, but I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's basically people giving English dubbed voices for Imaginary Fest.
Sounds pretty cool to me.
It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, we'll just wait until more cutscenes get done, because I know it's been kind of slow lately. I don't know what's going on with DJ who runs it and everything, so we'll see. All right, Uzuki or Uzuki, depending on the pronunciation. At Aeon, does the Old Testament omnibus come in a box? Well, yeah, I mean, it comes in a standard cardboard box. It comes in a package. Not a special box, but I don't know about anyone else's copies.
Yeah, so to give context with that, if you buy it in store, it won't come in a box. It'd just be there. It'd just be like any other book. Well, obviously, it wouldn't fit in a bookshelf, but it would be like, if you're familiar with manga, like there'd be like, if I had to assume, like where the box it's at, but it's not in a box. It's just the book, like shrink wrapped.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so for example, if you buy it in Rights of Anime or wherever, you just get it in the UPS box. And it's like, there's no like special thing to it. They just open it and then your book is there.
Salty Savage Gaming. What would be a good Toaru video game? RPG, fighting, etc. I just want, like I've said this before, listen, I know the Naruto Storm series gets a bad rep at times because it's just button mashing and that. I don't care. I think it was like a video saying, "Oh, anime fans should demand better for games." I'm like, nope. Just give me a brain dead button mashing Toaru fighting game, and I will be on that all day long. Like, I don't care. I don't want to try hard Toaru, 2D fighting game. Like, just give me like a story mode experience where huge cast of characters. You can play through like the campaign of like OT or NT or even a GT game would be like, woo! Or like, I'm not saying they should like do a giant like game for every part of Index. I mean, it might be possible, but that would be a giant of a game. Of the production would be worth doing it. But anything.
They tried with the MMO.
Yeah.
In defense of Storm, I think the problem with Storm is that they won't let it die. But Storm is still a good game. Anyone that says it's not a good game, I just blatantly disagree. Storm is it's a good game. It's probably one of the best anime games, to be honest. All the rest of the arena fighters, like the One Punch Man one, the My Hero one, those are kind of bad, terrible. But if the 2 Hour franchise got a Storm rendition, like basically what Demon Slayer got, I'd be all down to play that, like 100%. It is the fluid movement and action and the cool cutscenes that you get while fighting, that would be pretty awesome to do. 100% would love a 2 Hour arena fighter. I don't think an RPG would work though. I don't think an RPG would work. Cool. I think a fighting game would be better.
I don't think there should be a 3D fighting game for Toaru. I don't think there should be even a Toaru based fighting game. I think it should be more like Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, just for the long term of the game itself, because Toaru is like so neat. It's like the hype can happen, it just falls off. Like Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax, like people, like surprisingly enough, it's not even localized in English. It's like that game is old. It's like PS3. It's not even on PC, but there's still events for it. Like the event I do stuff in esports too, and then one of the events I ran a few weeks ago on social media, Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax was there, like in the actual arcades, and it was pretty sick because people actually had a tournament for that. So I think if they made a brand new Dengeki Bunko game, which I would insanely hot take, but I would prefer the Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax announcement equally to New Testament anything. Because just I like fighting games. Like, that's hot take, but like, because I still play the Dengeki Bunko Fighting Climax. I bought the game on like a Japanese PlayStation account, and I still play it. So just for a new game like this, like, I just think Dengeki Bunko have so many popular IPs. Like, for example, Jump Force fell off, but the thing is, it's not intended for like esports or tournament. But Dengeki Bunko was the Fighting Climax. So I feel like they made a new Fighting Climax game, just updated it graphically, include like updated cast of characters. Like, for like Fighting Climax alone had like 6 Toaru characters, including like assist. So it was pretty.
So had some heavy object characters. Just saying.
We even had heavy objects. So like, this makes something like that. It doesn't have to be Toaru specifically, but put Mitsuka big on the box, and then I'll be good.
I mean, we've already had the arena fighter for Index. The PSP game was an arena fighter, wasn't it?
I'd say so.
And then we've had, there was the Dengeki Bunko RPGs on the DS that were like, Aleister Crowley was even a secret boss in it. Those were pretty all right. Index has actually had quite a few video games. You've got whatever the Railgun one on PSP was. It was like part light novel, part what do you call it? QuickTime events. You had the pure visual novel for the Index movie game. You had the RPG PSP game, or not the RPG, the Arena Fighter Toaru fight PSP game. You've got for some reason you have the Virtual On game. There's an Arena Mech Fighter.
Yeah, that was some stuff right there.
Yeah. I don't know. I own all of them. The Dengeki Bunko stuff, and anything that had Index in it, I made sure to buy it at some point. Is for like which one I feel like it works best with. What I would like to see would probably be like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
That's fair.
All right. Next question. Dywex, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you here. Do you think new younger viewers or audience will be able to consume Toaru franchise these days?
No.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, while it is like such a big franchise, it's quite daunting to get into. Like I mentioned earlier, that has its own unique appeal, and I think like it's mainly stuff like new projects. Like I think New Testament English release will help. Like people notice it, and then yeah, I think it's more about anime. The anime announcements will definitely get newer, younger viewers. It's like when like Index 3, while Index 3 wasn't the best, like when Giguk made a video about it, I noticed like there was a lot of new fans coming into it and got into it thanks to that. So something similar could happen. But yeah, either the amount of entries in the franchise will turn people off, or it will turn people on because it's got its own unique appeal thanks to that.
I just think if you're younger, you just like if you mean like younger in terms of like a younger kid, for example, I feel like if you just go into it not knowing that there's more, like if you just see a volume 1 on our shelf, or you just on Crunchyroll and see like Index or Railgun, I feel like if you just watch it, I feel like anyone could get into Index, and I feel like if they go in so blindly, we're like, oh, this is pretty cool, then realize, oh wait, there's more. I feel like that would help like younger people just like oh, wow, there's more. Okay, I guess I continue. Or like they finish season 1, like that was cool. Well, what's next? Oh, there's more. Sort of like that in a way.
Yeah,
I don't think that Index is actually like an easy series for younger people to approach. I think whenever you look at the length of the series, it's extremely foreboding. I think the most common entry point is going to be the animes, and for Index in particular, and I think even Railgun, as it is currently, like the original seasons, I don't think their quality or what they show or how they approach the series would bring in newer anime fans, like younger anime fans who grow up on things like Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia and stuff. And especially with like the rise of like binging and short form content, like you can binge Index, but because of the release schedule and how rushed it is, whenever you binge Index, I think that makes the flaws even more apparent than whenever you watch it week to week. I think, in all honesty, I think if you want Index to pick up a new fan base, like a younger fan base, you'd have to redo the first. You just have to redo OT and reanimate Railgun, the first season at least.
I think it's gonna be a large entry barrier, but I think with like the release of new content, people will get up, because with things like I've seen with things like like with Fate in general, huge entry barrier, but every time like a new Fate anime happens, a bunch of people are like, oh, I'm gonna get into the Fate franchise. This is my leap. Even with like One Piece, huge entry barrier, right? So many episodes. With what's happening in the One Piece community right now, no spoilers, but what's happening in the One Piece community right now, I know a lot of people simply just from that announcement was just like, fine, I'll start it. So I think, I think what Toonie said, I agree with what Toonie said. It's just either it's going to be fine, I'll start it, because of this fandom is hyping this up like it's the best thing ever, and I want to see for it myself, or they're just on their anime journey and they just happen to discover it, right? And they just go from there. So it's possible. It's possible.
I guess I think a lot of it. I think a lot of newer anime fans have a very particular taste with the kind of shows they take in. I think like the most popular shows right now, and I know a lot of people don't like to acknowledge it, but they have very, very high production value. Demon Slayer took off extremely well, mostly carried by the production value and the animation.
It was carried.
Yeah.
And I think while it's not quite as heavily as relied upon as it was with Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia has a very high production value.
Yeah.
And it's just Spy X Family, really popular anime, high production value. It doesn't feel rushed.
Yeah.
It's just all these popular animes. Go or just Fate, the newer Fate animes specifically, high production values, especially if they're by Ufotable. I think if you want a series to be popular now, it has to be clearly high production value. And Index, starting off, just doesn't get that. You'll get some fans here and there, but you won't have like this big influx.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like closest we got to that was the Index movie, then parts of season 2. Some of the backgrounds in 3 were nice, but there was a lot of janky animation 3 and art style choices.
I think we saw it with Railgun T, because
that's what I was gonna say.
like
Railgun
you saw
T,
that on social media, and people, what do you see? People showing up like, oh, the Satin with the ball on the string thing. I saw that everywhere on social media. Why? Because it was really well animated. You saw Misaka's giant mech thing, the sand mech, whatever. Like, you saw that. We did not. What did you see of Index 3 on Twitter? That wasn't
Pretty
just people making fun of it. Yeah, pretty backgrounds.
But seriously, like the downgrade for Accelerator's Black Wings in Index 3 compared to like 2 was it made it look so bad. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think part of that is just how JC staff, like, because they're on such bad crunch, they take so many shortcuts, and a lot of those shortcuts involve changing the way they animate. Like Index 3, we saw much more emphasis on 3D background characters, and just CG wherever they can use it.
It's just the different staffs. Because I have a friend who actually researched this and he did a whole video on it. So Railgun and Index have different staffs working on them. And I think Railgun season 1 had the same director as Index, and then from Railgun S and onward, they changed directors and gave Railgun its own staff, and that's why Railgun looks the way it does, and Index kind of, looks the way it does as well. And it's just different staff working on it, basically. The Railgun staff knows how to adapt stuff better.
Yeah,
that's it.
They definitely get higher quality staff. Like the Index director, I think he's had like one successful series outside of Index that he's directed. And like I don't want to like hate on him, but because it seems like he is a fan of Index, but I don't think he does a good job adapting Index. I don't think he approaches the series with the correct mindset.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect. I'm pretty sure he works very hard. But me personally, just from a subjective view, I don't think he does a good job. I do think they need to switch him out. So.
Yeah, it's Nishikiori. I think certain scenes he can do well, but overall,
he does good
not the
slice.
best.
Like whenever Index goes slice of life, I think it's really good. Like the build up to the Academy City invasion arc. I thought that was like really well done. The pacing there was good, and it was like humorous. Like it was proper. Like it was funny. But whenever it comes to like the action, and I think you really see it break during things like Battle Royale, where it's back-to-back action suspense, you can see his direction really fall apart there.
Right, next question. Imminent Successful is asking a light novel question, so sorry, but we'll skip that because we've got some anime. Yeah, don't want to off too bad. Let's see how many questions we've got left. Got one left. Yeah, we'll do last one, I think. If I can find it again. Air Knights. Alright, this will be the last question. Which characters you'd like to see get a spin-off like Junko getting Astral Buddy? Yeah, Sogita, of course. He's just perfect for a spin-off, I think, and it's destined to happen. Otherwise, I've always said I love an Aqua of the Back spin-off, like just him doing
That'd be cool.
mercenary missions across the world. That'd be sick.
I've always said the Amaxa. I want them to get like they had like one light novel side story, but I'd like a proper spin-off for them.
Yeah, I'd say Sogita as well. I think that'd be really interesting, just how action-packed it could be, or just learning more about his interesting character.
Yeah, definitely. My pick was Sogita as well. Just finish off the level 5s, right? You know.
Yeah. Y'all see, y'all are part of the problem. This is why we don't get Magic side adaptations. Why? Because you only want science.
If you can't beat them, join them. That's all I'm gonna. No, I'm joking. No, there's definitely some magic characters. Like you said, the Amaxa. I wouldn't mind the Amaxa spinoff, and the Aqua spinoff would really be cool. I thought Aqua was one of the best parts of X3 for me. He was pretty badass.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely enjoy that.
Yeah, I think it could work. But hey, after Sogita, we could get number 6 maybe. Who knows? We'll have to see if they can be revealed. Right. Guess this is time to end the podcast, unfortunately. Just want to say thank you very much for watching, and thanks all of you for joining, especially RJ, who is our special guest today. And check out your links in the description for YouTube and Twitter. Just like to talk about the stuff you talk about on the channel.
Well, thanks for having me. You know, it was fun talking about Toaru. I mean, to be honest, we need more people in the fandom, so I love what you guys are doing over here.
Oh, appreciate that. Yeah, just keeping it alive best we can. Someone's gonna do it. But absolutely great to see there's so many projects coming up for a change. It seems like it's exciting times, and of course it's only going to get bigger, hopefully, with the 20th anniversary happening next year. God knows what's going to happen. Don't want to think about it too much in case I get disappointed in that, but hey. Yeah, also check out Mal's Twitter and inactive YouTube. He won't ever upload to.
I promise I will one day.
That's like the same promise as me promising to read, what do you call it, Virtual On.
Nah, I don't know why. Like fake Toaru fan. It's such a good book.
I will.
About Toaru. Dang.
I will. I'll read it. And of course, Dooney's social media links, YouTube. You're doing an omnibus video, as you mentioned. That's right.
Yep, got that. Hopefully next weekend. That's the plan, at least.
Ooh. Me. Nice one. Right. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, wherever you are in the world. And thanks for everyone for coming on. All right.
Awesome. Pleasure to be
Until
here.
next time.